Today, let's conduct a deep analytical breakdown of a structural shift happening right beneath the internet economy. We need to calmly observe a very clear phenomenon. Gemini is noticeably making Google's search better, faster, and more direct for the user. But there is a massive, unresolved contradiction hiding beneath the surface. Gemini improves the product while simultaneously threatening to weaken the exact business model that made Google historically profitable.
Newer investors might logically ask, if the product is getting better, why would that weaken the core search business? Because, as AI directly answers user questions, the user no longer needs to click links. They no longer navigate the traditional ad-driven system. This creates a profoundly unresolved question for the market. Google's ultimate challenge right now isn't simply protecting its traffic. It is figuring out how to rebuild its underlying profitability in an AI-first world.
To truly understand why Gemini has such a deep, structural impact on Google, we first have to deconstruct Google's core engine, the distribution machine. Fundamentally, Google's impenetrable moat over the last 2 decades wasn't just built on a search algorithm, it was built on being the internet's most ruthlessly efficient system for distributing attention. Think about the mechanics. Every time a user types a query into that search box, they are doing more than looking for information. They are revealing highly valuable commercial intent. Buying a car, booking a hotel, finding a lawyer, or purchasing enterprise software. Capturing that exact moment of intent has always been the absolute bedrock of their immense profitability.
The entire foundation of the old internet was built around user exploration. You search, and then you explore. You click on multiple links, you compare different websites. Google's genius was successfully monetizing that entire journey. They embedded highly profitable waypoints at every single step of the user's exploration process.
If you look closely at the modern internet economy over the last 20 years, it was perfectly structured around this cycle: search, clicks, attention, distribution, and monetization. This is the classic attention economy. For Google, as long as user attention keeps moving continuously through their system, the profits flow right alongside it. However, when we shift our focus to the present and look at Gemini, we cannot view it simply as a feature update. We are dealing with an active force of AI compression. It is slowly, systematically reducing the user's need to explore. And for Google, that represents a slow, structural erosion of their foundational base.
Contrast these two fundamental behaviors. In the traditional exploration model, a user navigates a maze of clicks to piece together an answer. But now, AI has the capability to deliver the final result directly. When the exact answer is handed to you entirely within the AI layer, your motivation to explore the wider web effectively drops to zero.
This is why this compression is so disruptive to the old model. Delivering direct answers effectively stops the flow of attention. And remember, the traditional distribution structure relies entirely on that continuous, moving flow of users. When the flow stops, the old foundational structure for monetization naturally begins to weaken.
Following this logic, we start to observe a much larger macro shift. AI is gradually moving the internet's core function away from just distributing traffic and pushing it toward recommendation and execution. We are moving from exploration to orchestration. This isn't just a trend, it is a complete paradigm shift in the underlying business logic.
So, what does this mean for the broader industry? This brings us to the core contradiction we face today: intelligence versus monetization. Even for a dominant giant like Google, the reality is stark. The capability of AI is currently growing significantly faster than its ability to generate durable, stable economic returns. Every major tech company is currently locked in an intelligence race. Google's Gemini is pushing multimodality, Claude is dominating reasoning workflows, and GPT is racing toward general orchestration. But they all face the exact same unresolved problem. Where's the long-term, durable profit structure that replaces the old search model? As investors, we must be extremely clear-headed about this. Pure technological intelligence does not automatically equal a business moat. If all these models eventually become commodities, meaning they are just good enough and users can easily switch between them, then the long-term pricing power of these companies will be much weaker than the market currently anticipates.
Since pure intelligence likely won't form a lasting moat, the strategic battlefield has to shift. For Google, the most valuable layer of the future internet probably won't be the underlying AI model itself. The real monopoly value lies in the next frontier, the interface layer.
The interface layer is the critical connection point between humans, AI, and the physical world. It is the operating systems, the hardware devices, the default entry points where tasks get scheduled. Whoever controls this connection point, whoever handles the orchestration, is the one who will build the true economic moat in the AI era.
This is precisely why Google is so aggressively embedding Gemini across its entire ecosystem: Android, Chrome, Workspace, YouTube, Maps. Google understands better than anyone that before the old click and attention model fully decays, they must secure absolute control over this new interface layer.
Because the foundational rules of the internet are being rewritten. Traditional platforms distributed information, but future AI platforms will distribute decisions. They will decide what products you buy, which services you use, and what workflows you follow. The commercial value of controlling decisions is vastly different from controlling information. Which brings us to our final thoughts for the intelligent investor. Gemini's true structural impact on Google and the internet as a whole is that it is slowly but irreversibly changing how profits, traffic, and decisions are distributed across the economy.
So the ultimate question for us isn't which AI model is marginally smarter today. The real question is, who will control this new interface layer between humans and AI? History consistently proves that technological capability alone never guarantees long-term profitability. We are simply at the very beginning of watching the market figure this out.
The above content represents a personal analysis of business logic and does not constitute any form of investment advice. Markets involve risk, so please conduct your own independent research before making any decisions. Thank you for thinking through this structural shift with me today.